Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, inviting you to join my co-host and I, Pastor Shannon E. Jones, each Tuesday, right here on Straight Talk from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. And if you'd like to call in and join the discussion, you can call 470-251-0349. That's 470-251-0349. And if you'd like to be a guest on the program, we'd love to have you. You can email us at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalk1362@gmail.com. It's Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Pastor Shannon E. Jones.
Hello, this is Pastor Reverend McGarman at Word of Faith Love Center in East Point, Georgia, and I watch Straight Talk with Pastor Fann, the Preacher Man.
You are now tuned in to Straight Talk Live with Greg Fann, where you are invited to have open discussions of topics ranging from social, political, economics, religious, or just open dialogue. So now, let's get to talking with Greg Fann.
Greg Fann, yes. And Straight Talk with Shannon E. Jones is what? Straight Talk. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got an exciting program planned and designed with you, our listeners and viewers, in mind. Listen, today is election day, and boy, we are praying for the right outcome. I hope that you are too. So we'll be back with more. If you'd like to be a guest on this program, all you got to do is call 404-308-0795, 404-308-0795, or you know what else you can do? You can email us at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. We'd love to have you as a guest on the program and give your views, your opinions on certain topics as you see it as Straight Talk. We're glad to have Derek Bozeman last week. Mr. Too Much Truth with us last week. We're glad he can join us here on Straight Talk. Hey, listen, I'm getting ready to get to that gentleman. Y'all know his name is. His name is Shannon E. Jones. And we're in a new studio, so Shannon will join me in just a minute. Hey, share this with your Facebook friend. Hit share right now, won't you? All right, Shannon has joined me now. We're here in our new studio. Man, Shannon, I'm glad you could join me today.
I'm glad to be able to join you. Sitting there looking like Black Johnny Carson.
I'd have to run and find you. I told you he'll be sitting here when you come back. We're in our new studio, Shannon and I here today with Straight Talk. You know, we were just talking a little bit.
Here's Bishop.
Well, thank you so very much for the introduction. Ed McMahon.
That's my job, you know.
But anyway, I got to call it. I'm going to have to get back with you. We're starting the program. All right. So listen, this is what I'm going to do. We were talking before we came on the air for Shannon and I came on. Mm-hmm. And he was talking about my cup. Mine's still a cup. Mine's still a cup. And my still a cup holder. He was talking about it. Look at me over there grumbling now. I told him I'm a Steeler fan. I've been a Steeler fan. I'm going to continue to be a Steeler fan. And he's over there on the seesaw with the Falcons going up and down. And this guy's be grumbling like a grizzly bear. I know there's a lot of Falcon fans out there, but you're just fooling yourself.
Father, forgive him.
Father, forgive them for they know what they talking about. They got it.
You didn't tell me I got my Falcons cup. I could have brought my Falcons cup.
How many games y'all won?
Don't worry about that. How many
coaches y'all
Somewhere I read that the last shall be first.
How many coaches have you fired? How many general managers have you fired? And you still losing?
We about fired as many as Trump has fired, what keeps the staff.
Oh, he's on his way. He's already said, you heard him say that if he wins, Fauci's fired.
Fauci's gone.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. He said, give me a minute. I think Fauci should quit. I think he should quit on the day before election.
You know what, though, honestly?
I would quit.
If I was Fauci, I'd let him fire me.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you why I'd let him fire me. Because the American people, if they elect Donald Trump and they did not listen to the wisdom of the man who has gone through this and have told us this and shared this, and other scientists who have agreed with him, and they're listening to him, I would let him follow him, because then people would get what they deserve, because they listen to lies versus the truth. But this is saying the last day they're going to have itching ears and listening to all wind of doctrine, and they're running after every wind of doctrine, and here they are running after this dollars and cents that ain't really making no sense. I mean, and in reality, when people are still losing lives, returning, he said, we're turning the curve. This thing is going to be over after a while. It's going to be over after a while. And every state, except for a few states, the numbers are going back.
That's right. That's right.
The numbers
were going up last week in every state.
That's what I'm saying. Now they're going. Well, but thank you for the correction. But the reality of it is that they're going up. They're not coming down.
No. And his super spreaders are actually that's true. It's not just a saying.
Right.
That they're going back and tracing and seeing people getting sick. So, for Rome, Georgia, yesterday, he put a disclaimer on the ticket. If you catch COVID, you cannot sue the Trump administration.
Oh, really?
So he knows that he's getting people sick.
And he have we heard from the young lady who was the press secretary, and the young lady who was who was following him everywhere he went, who got it, and we haven't heard from them.
I know my governor didn't go down.
Oh, the governor couldn't go. The governor already had got
so
he
he's
got
quarantined.
He already had a taste of it. He got a taste of it. The governor, our governor.
I'm a Trump supporter.
I'm a supporter, and
I drive this truck and grab the criminal illegals. Take them to Trump.
Hey, I got my shotgun placed on my son-in-law. Boy, what you doing with my daughter, huh? What's your intention?
What's going on with Walmart bringing these guns back?
Well,
before the election.
You know what's going on. You know what's going on, Shannon. Listen, let's just be clear. We have to honestly be honest with ourselves as we look at what's going on. Solomon says, in the word, there's nothing new under the sun. Whatever has been will be. And right now we at the will be because it's already been done. Dr. King, Abernathy, Walter Fonroy. I was thinking about Ben Hooks the other day when Ben Hooks, who was the first, he was the head of the FCC years ago. I mean, all of these guys who fought hard and long. We talk about John Lewis, but John Lewis wasn't the only one.
No, he wasn't.
I mean, he wasn't the only one. But we got some unsung heroes that have not gotten their just dues. And when I look at the black preacher today, and we talk about slavery, if you think about it in retrospect, just think about history. When we were on the plantation, our foreparents were on the plantation, the black preacher was bringing the people to the master's porch and preaching sermons right there in front of the master.
Slave obey the master.
And saying what the master wanted him to say. So we got the same kind of things going on today where people are saying what the master wants them to say, and they're not looking at what's really going on in terms of the reality of what's really going on. We've had 28 tornadoes. 28 this season. You know what I say? Storm. 28 this season, right? That God is trying to show us, Shannon, what's going on. And we got a worldwide pandemic. And we got somebody that's sitting up there saying, oh, everything's all right. It's perfect. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful.
There's no climate change either.
There ain't no climate change. Everything's beautiful. And this is going to last for a little while. It's not going to last long. Like he's God. He's going to control.
Well, he said, I alone can fix it. That's what he said to the Republican convention.
Well, he's a prophet.
That's what he said. He said, I
and don't
alone.
Go to nobody's church.
Not with God's help. He said, I alone can fix it.
He can fix it.
And has destroyed this nation.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't waiting on him to fix it. God got to fix this thing. He's got to fix it. Shannon, I love doing this program. I do.
I do too.
I love sharing. We have this time of sharing one with another. Boy, hold on for a minute.
Place to hold my phone.
Hold on for a minute, Shannon. I just want to, thank you so much. I had this waiting over here for you. So when you came, so I could have my cup, it's running over.
Oh, goodness gracious. I tell you.
Oh, boy. 7-0. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Shannon? 7-0. What do you think about that?
I think y'all stealing.
They're
going to find you
6-2?
deflating
But
balls.
y'all 6-2?
Don't worry about what we are. We having an off year.
I know y'all going to have an off year.
How long? Not long.
It's already been too long. But I bring Connie in this conversation because she done got upset talking about Fann.
Oh, I know. I know.
Let me talk about
Connie, where is she? Lord God, I need some backup up in here.
As we look at what's going on seriously, as we look at what's going on, entertainment, has really kept us kind of balanced, in terms of having people some reasonable, sense of feeling of some happiness. And we're getting more people that I know personally, and perhaps that are being contracted with the virus. This thing is serious. It ain't nothing to play with. And we got somebody that's playing with it and saying to us that he wants to be the president of the United States again of America. Now, this is airing on Tuesday while people are voting, or after the polls of the people that voted, and we hope that people that voted to do the right thing. We don't know, but we certainly hope that young people, surprisingly, those young people have stepped up to the plate through TikTok and Instagram and all those things, and they see what's going on. Because really, you know what? This country is on the brink of becoming a dictatorship.
It is.
With this election.
It is.
And the young people will be the one that will be living upon a dictatorship.
That's what they'll be. You already got a Supreme Court that's set up for a dictatorship.
Right.
You have a Congress that's set up for, or a one side of it that's set up. If we don't take, because I know that we have conservatives that watch us too. So if we don't bring a greater balance to Congress, then you're gonna have a one-sided Congress. You got a one-sided Supreme Court. You got a no-sided president that just
whatever
goes with whatever it is that he comes up with.
You're fired.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever's going on, whatever machinations that are happening in his mind.
He's still on what's the apprentice. You're fired.
Yeah, you're fired. You're fired. But America and democracy is on the ballot tonight. That's what's on the ballot tonight. That's what we're voting. We're voting for the ideas of America against what I keep calling this neo-confederacy. That's not geographical anymore. It's an ideology. And he has told the racists that it's time for you to come out from under the sheets and from the four corners. It's time for you to come from behind the badges or whatever it was that you were hiding and come to the table. He is ringing the dinner bell of racism in America. And they're saying that that this country could move into a kind of civil war, if not, a physical civil war. So
they're saying that you done seen it.
We've seen it. It's happened before, so we know that history says it can happen again. And that's why I was talking about Walmart.
Right.
With these, they brought back this rule 3 months ago. They said we're going to take guns off our shelves. We're going to get rid of the ammunition and all of that. Then they came back and said before this election that they immediately putting assault rifles back in their stores again. So because they're saying that they think that on tonight, after tonight, and tomorrow night, the 4th, that possibly we could be in a situation where there is civil unrest and violent civil unrest led by the militias and whatnot. Daniel Blackman, who is running for tonight for Public Service Commission, had a rally on Sunday afternoon in Rome, Georgia, same day as the president was in. And the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, contacted him and said that they think that he needs to cancel his rally, that there is a credible threat against his life. It's a black man, young black man, friend of mine, friend of ours, who's running for Public Service Commissioner. And they told him so he had to move to another venue because the President of the United States, not the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, the President of the United States.
He's not.
He's not. I'm saying that this is that the President of the United States has brought a contingent of people that are so violent that another candidate that is running for office, like the President of the United States, is told that he has to move his event from Rome and away from where the president is going to be, because the militias and all of those who are Trump supporters that would be coming, the threat level and the danger level was at a place that he had to move. So Walmart is like the armory of these white supremacist militia groups. That's where they go to get their armor. That's where they go to get their guns and their bullets. And their threat is that if Trump doesn't win tonight, that they're going to rise, that the Confederacy is going to rise again. That's
scary.
It's very scary.
But God is still in control.
Yeah,
I do want to say this though. For those of us, and I say us, people of color,
yeah,
who shop at Walmart,
yeah,
and Sam's, those of us who shop at those stores looking for discounts and those kinds of things, that you see what people on the back end, they're taking out money, but on the front end, they're trying to destroy us.
The Walton family.
Yeah. So I mean, we have to take the scales off our eyes and see. Because see, we walk around with blinders.
Yeah, we do.
We walk around with blinders because we're too busy trying to satisfy our flesh that we can't see what's really going on. Old Negro spiritual came to mind the other day. Well, this morning, rather, when I got up and said, "Steal away to Jesus. I ain't got long to stay here." Because they used to sing those songs out there in the field, steal away when they were getting ready to run. They steal away because now our freedom, our very freedom, is at stake. People of color, very freedom is at stake. Their very freedom is at stake. Whether or not they'll have the opportunity to say like we're saying now, and not be censored, not be intimidated. That because of what you say, you'll go to jail. Did you see that piece? And I don't know if you saw it. Judge Joe Brown. He was arrested in Shelby County.
Not for drinking.
No, not for drinking. He was arrested because he's running for DA.
He's running for DA in Shelby County?
Shelby County. And he was...
Shelby.
Yeah, Shelby County. Okay. So he was talking, he was arrested. And the reason he was arrested was for contempt. He was at the courtroom, and a young lady had asked him if he would represent her. And he said to her, I'll look into your case, and, when I look into your case, if it's something I feel that needs representation, I'll do it. And then when he looked at it, he said, I'll do it pro bono. He took the young lady's case on pro bono, saying that they were accusing her of being the mother of a child that she had abandoned. But they had no birth certificate, they had no this, they had no nothing to say that she was the mother of the child, but they were making her to be the mother of the child. And were charging her for abandonment of this child, right? So he went into court with her and asked that the case be dismissed because of the fact that they had no real evidence. Well, the judge then told him that he wasn't going to dismiss. He said, but Your Honor, based on this, that, he know the law. He's been a prosecutor, been the judge.
Right.
He said, Your Honor, blah, blah, blah. He told him what to stand. He said, if you say one more thing else, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And then so he said something. He said, that's a certain time. And he said, but the DA, the present DA, which is a woman, her son was in the courtroom, and her son was urging the judge to arrest him. And the judge then arrested him for contempt, right? But he said he saw this stuff back in the 60s, the stuff that they're doing there in Shelby County, and the stuff they were doing in the 60s. Now, we all know the judge, Joe Brown, is not a dumb man.
No,
we
not.
know he's a very intelligent man. But this is showing you how we're turning back the hands of time.
Sure.
We're turning back because we've had a leader who has systematically stopped not only the high court but the lower federal courts to carry out the wishes of what we call racism in this country. Against the haves, against the have-nots. And some of those people who look like us think they're the haves, they will find very soon they'll be the have-nots.
Yeah. And it's interesting that Shelby is the county that sued the Attorney General Holder to roll back the pre-clearances for the 1965 Voter Rights Act in June 25th, 2013. Supreme Court ruled that Section 4B of Section 5 would have to be struck down, getting rid of the pre-clearances so that the voter intimidation, the voter suppression, and the mindset of a judge that would do that to our judge, I would call, could happen. And so this stuff is for real, and it's happening. It's happening right now tonight. It's happening right now tonight, and I'm believing with you that a God of justice is watching this. And I believe that that one way or another, God's victory will prevail.
I believe that. I believe that with all my heart and mind and soul. I know that when people turn their back on God, and
Yes,
you know that as men of God and knowing the Word of God, God has a will of bringing us back to
He
Him.
does.
You know, and when we look at all the things that's going in the world, and today, the world, not just in America, but the world, how God has taken the world. I was watching yesterday about like what they were saying in London about the pandemic. It done hit who? It hit Prince George, it hit William. I mean, it has no respect of person. You know, your title doesn't mean anything because when God comes, then God comes. You know, and when you think about the children of Israel, how God freed them with the death angel riding over the doorposts of those that had the blood, lamb blood up on their doorpost. So I mean, when Solomon said there's nothing new up under the sun, there's nothing new. And we have to understand that we're living in this time, and I know we're talking to people that may not be Christians, may not be believers, may not subscribe to the teachings of Jesus Christ, and that's your prerogative. But the reality of it is, whatever your religious belief is, we have the hope that there's a higher power that's going to be in control of what's going on, because the higher power is the one that's taking us through what we're dealing with now, what we've dealt with in the past. And Shannon, you know, you haven't lived long enough to understand some of the things that you see going on. However, you've experienced some things in your young life. And I say young life because you're younger than me. You're not that young, but you're younger than me.
46.
But the reality of it is that you've seen some things in your young life that has changed from what you believe to have been justice and equality for black folks, that we had arrived, that there was going to be fairness, that was going to be equality, and we'd be able to eat here, do this, and do all those things that we should be able to do. That even in your life, you've experienced racism and hatred and bigotry in your own life.
Absolutely, I have. I've experienced it growing up in College Park, Georgia. Remember on some Saturdays watching the Klan walk down Main Street. Folks wouldn't believe that, but the Klan used to come down Main Street. Used to come down Main Street in East Point.
East Point, absolutely.
Yeah. Used to march down the street. Remember Johnny Reb's restaurant?
Yeah, you remember Johnny
Okay,
Reb.
so mom and dad were in there.
On 29.
Yeah, on 29. Mom and dad were eating in there one day, and mom said she was going to eat. Dad said he wasn't hungry.
Right.
So they sat down. Dad had a cup of coffee or something, and mom had something on her plate, and he reached over, I think took a piece of shrimp or something off her plate, and they called the police. And the police came and said that these two are trying to run a con on us. And Dad said, what con are we running? I said, well, you. So they take Dad out, College Park police. Didn't arrest him, detained him for a while, and took him out. We're talking 1980. You know, first time I was called a nigger was at the College Park Recreational Center. Not to demean College Park, but you just you know, that's where I was raised. So that's where
it ain't demeaning College Park. It's just the history.
That's the history of that. But I'm focusing. I seem to be focusing a lot on
but
that's where I was raised. That was
that's your narrative. That's your story.
Yeah, that's where it began for me, and where my eyes began to open up. And I remember when Hosea Williams went to Forsyth County. All those brothers and sisters, all you Negroes living out in Forsyth County, you wouldn't have been living out there about 35 years ago. But was that long ago? Was that March 1986? That would have been? Yeah, so Dad was out of town on business, and Hosea Williams had gone down the week before, and of course they stoned him and threw rock sediments. And so then he said, we're coming back, and then we went back with tens of thousands, and it was very scary. I think I was 11 or 11 years old, and my father was out of town. He says, well, you all should go. And I said, well, you should be in town. You know what I mean?
I know you didn't say that to your dad. You said that to yourself. That's what you said. You didn't say that.
It's a little foggy. I can't remember if I might have said it or not.
I know your dad.
So long ago.
You didn't say that to your dad.
But you know, I said, well.
Oh, you careful. Oh, go ahead.
Goodness gracious.
Tell your story.
Choke on it. Okay, whatever it is. uh, so we went and marched down there, and I remember seeing the Klan and seeing militia groups with their guns in the air. I remember the signs that said, Niger, go home. And I asked my mother, I said, what is a Niger? She said, they mean nigger, they're just ignorant and they can't spell.
Right.
I remember the National Guard saying, we got to get you all out of here tonight. And so we need to get you back to the buses. Because at that point, we could have been harmed. So my eyes were opened at that age. But I grew up, my father was in the movement. My father worked for Operation Breadbasket. My godfather was Calvin Morris, helped establish the King Center. So I was around, that all my life. But to see it, it's one thing to know that it exists, but to experience it for yourself is something else. And then I went to college in Boston. So I was in South Boston. And that's a whole nother thing. That's up south. Right. Where they say, what are you doing in this community? Why are you Irish racist in South Boston, saying you don't come through here in 1990s. So I have experienced it. I've seen it, and I've seen the disenfranchisement, which has caused me to be one that would give my life to the work of liberating our people, because that work is still important.
It's very important, and I think that people sense of the importance of it, because I heard on a commercial that Donald Trump has put more money in people's pocket during his term in office than any other president, and I would say to myself,
Russian pockets, Chinese pockets.
I mean, where did the money come to the American people? The minimum wage has never been raised. Yeah. There's no, people are laid off. I'm trying to figure out how much, where the money. Well, anyway, if you're talking about that little stimulus check, that's a one-time pop.
And that didn't pay the rent.
No. But racism, as you saw it as a kid, up close and in person, and my story is different because I grew up in the 50s. I was born in the 50s, so I grew up in the 60s. So, seeing it and growing up on the Reverend Avenue in West Harlem, just seeing it up close and in person, being called the N-word in College Park, telling my mom, "Is these your N children?" And we were little bitty kids. So yeah, College Park. When we talk about, talk about your own narrative. East Point was another narrative, and other people have other experience. From Folk Valley to Rome to Cardale to all over Georgia, Perry, Georgia, and some places now, even Dublin, those places now, even still acting the same way. Noonan.
Yeah.
Sharpsburg, all the places where black folks are moving to now. Yeah. That was like, the place where they were dogging black folks out and treating black folks like, and black folks talking about where we've arrived. Arrived where?
Where have you arrived to?
Yeah, where we arrived.
I forgot that the first night that we moved in our home in College Park, and my father, some mail was in our box. I might have told you this story.
No, you haven't told me that.
Some mail was in our box, and it was the mail for the neighbors. I'm not going to call their name because we grew to. And so Dad says we should take the mail to the neighbor and introduce ourselves. Right. So we went over, walked out our driveway and around their driveway and up to the front door, and they asked us to come to the side door. So we went around to the side door, and the lady answered and said, "Oh my, we're your new neighbors, and we got some mail." And she said, "Oh," and then this man comes with a Hamm's beer, blue bottoms on, looked like Ronald Reagan in the face, blue pajama bottoms on, white t-shirt, Hamm's beer, no, and he looks at us and he says, "Y'all the new neighbors?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We ain't never lived next door to no niggas before." Without skipping a beat, my 30-something-year-old father says, "And we never lived next door to no crackers before, but we gonna get along just fine, ain't we?" I said, "Oh Lord." This man became the best neighbors that we've ever had, that I've ever had in my life. Right. But we You know, it was a cultural exchange, and it really was my father was George Jefferson, and this neighbor was Archie Bunker. and we grew together. He taught me, Mr. Summers was his name. He taught me how to tie a tie. My dad traveled a lot, and I had to wear a tie for school and didn't have a clip-on tie for something that they were doing. And he told me how to tie a tie. And every time I tie a tie and talk about white races, I think about him, you know, because I wouldn't be able to put my suit on and go talk about white supremacy if it wasn't for Mr. Summers teaching me how to tie a tie. And that's America.
No, but one thing that Joe Biden said, he was going to be the president for all Americans, not just for black, not just for white, not just for Asian, not just for Hispanic, but for all Americans, not just for Democrat, not just for Republican, for all Americans. Mr. Summers, though he had his own racism probably, his own bigotry probably, but he got to know you, and he got to know the person. And so all of that dissipated when people get to know the person.
Oh man,
yeah, because they're not all white people or Caucasians, because they ain't white, but all Caucasians are not bad. All black folks are not good.
No.
I mean, all Indians or Asians are not bad, and all of them are not good. But it's the heart of man. It's the heart of man. What kind of heart do you have? Do you have a heart of love, or do you have a heart of hate?
Right.
Do you really love this country? If you love this country and you say you love this country, then you know that we're all here in this country, and we all do the same respect and the same things that the Constitution affords all Americans.
All of us. Yeah.
All Americans. So on that note, we'll know in a little bit. Well, Donald Trump said the election should be called tonight.
He says it should be called tonight. And he says that if he gets an inkling that he's ahead, he's going to go ahead and say that he won. He came back and said he didn't say that.
Well, you know, he lied.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, all liars have their heart apart and they can find. You know, he will lie. But hey, Shannon, thank you, man, for this part in this program. We're going to take a break, and then Shannon's going to come back. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to do what he likes to do. Absolutely. And that's throw people in the trash can.
All right, well, it's time to put them in the trash. You know, we go from straight talk to trash talk right here on Straight Talk. And tonight is election night. A lot going on. I was looking at Harris County, Texas, right there near Galveston, Texas. About 127,000 people did, you know, it's COVID, it's the pandemic, and so they did motor voting. They drove and did motor voting, and in Harris County, they had set it up and it was legal. But the Republican Party of Texas said that is terrible, and they began to sue and say that that should not happen. Well, much to the success of Harris County and the Harris County DA, it went all the way to the Texas Supreme Court. Now, we talk about Texas justice. You know, Texas justice is a different kind of justice. But on this one, they upheld the rights of those votes. And, you know, it just seemed like folk are trying to stop people from voting. I don't understand that. I mean, I understand it, but I don't understand it. I mean, what is it about the vote that you want to take somebody's right to be heard? Well, I understand it. It's really about power, and it's about discrimination. It's about racism. It's about privilege being able to stay. But once every 4 years, we have this major presidential election. And it's our time to stand up and to stand out and to vote out that which we have had to deal with. About the last 4 years, I have kept BC powder. And this, I could do a BC powder commercial right now. I've kept some BC powder up on the kitchen table because it's been one headache after another watching this government, this federal government, this criminal federal government called the Trump administration do all the things that it has done. Come on, Facebook, don't put us off. I mean, I'm just telling it like the New York Times tells it. I'm just telling it like the Washington Post tells it. I'm just telling it like the Atlanta Journal-Constitution tells it and Wall Street Journal tells it. fake news. I'm trying to tell it like all the other fake news tells it. And as I look at this and go back to Harris County, to think about the Republican Party of Texas trying to stop 127,000 of their fellow citizens' votes from being counted, all because they wore masks and stayed in their cars and took their absentee ballots to be put in. So the first group that I would like to put in the trash this evening is on this election night, November the 3rd, 2020, is the Republican Party of Texas. I, with so many other freedom-loving Americans, take this opportunity and this responsibility to throw you, your hatred, your racism, your disenfranchisement, and everything else with you in the Straight Talk trash. You're in the trash right now. In the trash, in the trash you go. Republican Party of Texas. Woo, that trash. We just cleaned it out. We just got all Trump's folks, all them folk out of there. And it's starting to smell again. Next group is just election night. A whole lot of conversation about militias. And if we don't get what we want on this night, on this election night, if Donald Trump is not in, then some of the militia leaders have been quoted as saying that there will be civil war in this United States of America because their candidate, who is leading the Neo-Confederacy, which is not geographical, but it is ideological, that this Neo-Confederacy militia or military that's backing the machinations of the President of the United States of America. So sad to say that the President of the United States of America could galvanize such a group of hatred. But anyway, the militias have said that they will do what they need to do to protect the vote. They will show up at polling places and they will be watching. Really what they're going to be doing is they're going to be disenfranchising. They're going to be voter intimidation and all of that stuff going on. And so the one thing that we have to do, we got to take that militia, okay? All of these militias, and we got to grab them in our hands. Go ahead. Grab the militia in your hand and put them in the trash. But before we put them in the trash, put them in the trash bag. And then I want you to go ahead and tighten your bag. Come on, tie your knot. Go ahead, strengthen that knot right there. Lift up those militia groups, and we're going to throw all of these militias that are talking about that they're going to be monitoring the polls. You can't oppose because you're going to be in the Straight Talk trash. We throwing you straight in there. You are not going to make us be afraid. And one last group real quick. I got to go. But the militias couldn't have their guns if it wasn't for Walmart, who 3 months ago said that they were going to get rid of their guns and ammunition. Because of looking at what was happening in the country, police brutality and all this, they wanted to be responsible. But you know what? They looked out, and the Walton family that supports largely a lot of Republican candidates in Deep South, many of those who have been racist in their statements, they said we're going to bring the guns back. Because if they're going to be malicious, they need an armory that can sell them their guns. And Walmart stores, superstores, is going to be the one. Walmart, that was a terrible decision that you made. And we're going to lift you up, Walmart, and throw you in the Straight Talk trash. In the trash you go, Walmart. Oh, it's fucking down there. That trash. Boy, I'm telling you, trash politics, trash people, trash ideology. It stinks. It stinks to high heavens. Let's get this trash out of here. What trash truck? Where's the trash truck? Trash truck, take it away. Woo! Thank you.
Well, Shannon, you threw him in the trash can, man.
I had to do it, Bishop. I had to do it.
You really threw him in the trash can today. You did it.
Had to
really,
do it.
Walmart.
It brings me no.
The militia.
Are we going to stop going to Walmart?
You know, really, people need to really think about that thing. thing, spending money at Walmart, and Walmart is
It's voting against us and working against us.
working against
and
us.
not going to sell guns to get us. I mean, I guess we could buy the guns too. I guess they got the guns
Well,
to sell.
they're going to have to figure out how many guns they're going to sell, you know.
Exactly.
And you bought too many guns.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Yeah. So, I mean, we need to really think about that.
We really do.
We put a whole lot of people out of business too by going to Walmart, not going to the stores that were in our community.
You know, one thing that I really
because they sell caskets now too.
I know. They sell a lot of things online.
Yeah.
Online.
So you can shoot your hand, they're gonna bury you. Yeah, that's just a monopoly.
Well, most things are monopoly for people who got money. You know, you don't know what their interest is, their financial interest is. You know, you haven't checked out their portfolio. You haven't checked it out. Yeah. But one of the things that I thought that was very, very interesting, and I think about the Dixiecrats. You know, Texas used to be the Dixiecrat state, right? And for Texas to
be in play,
and for the judges to rule, and that made all the sense. Like, how you gonna disenfranchise that many voters because you think it's illegal to do that during a time when people are subject not wanting to go vote face to face? You're gonna take their freedom of choice away from them when they're given an option not to go to the poll. You can do absentee ballot, but this is how we're gonna run our absentee ballot program. You can stay in your car and you can just pan your ballot in, and it's fine, right? So what we have now is, if you think about it, let me show you how backward thinking that is. How many people may have been voting Republican or Democrat? You don't know out there 100,000.
Yeah.
So there's an assumption from the Republicans that they really believe that more people are voting Democrat than they were Republican to stop to suppress those votes.
Yeah.
Because that's all it was voter suppression, right?
Yep.
You're taking people freedom of choice away from them because you think that they are voting the other way.
Right. That's right.
So, Shannon, let's talk about this election tonight. Let's talk about it.
Man, first of all, I woke up.
Ain't you glad the polls closed?
Man, I'm so glad. I'm so glad the polls are closed. I woke up this morning singing, "It's beginning to look a lot like Election Day." And then I went on and said, you know, record votes on every shore. You know?
How many people are already voted?
Man, over 100 million people have already voted.
And Georgia, man, Georgia, boy, in play. Georgia's in play.
Georgia's getting ready to turn that orange face blue.
Oh, wow. Well, you know.
But who would thunk it?
Who would have thunk it? Well, I tell you when.
I mean, it used to be blue, but that wasn't the blue that we know.
No.
That was the blues.
Those were the Dixiecrats.
Yeah, that was the blues.
That was most of the Dixiecrats. But the reality of it is, it makes no difference who's in power as long as they're doing right by the people.
Yeah.
And so this election should say to any person of any party, whatever party you are a part of, is that you must do right by the people in the country, not just people in certain segments of the country, not just big business. Because I don't know about you, but I'm sick of seeing the commercials that big business is paying for, the lies that are being told on those commercials and trying to entice people to vote for people that have not looked out and served the best interest of their constituents.
Yeah.
They don't even know their constituents. They don't even visit their constituents. They don't even go back to the district to talk to the constituents. Because the constituent is beneath them. And I want to say to anyone who has voted for any of those candidates that win, that vote them in, then vote them out.
Vote them back out.
And that's been always my philosophy. We vote you in, we'll vote you out.
In fact, that's what folk know about you. I'll put you in office. But not the same one that put you in office. Carry out.
Yeah, we get you out.
And that's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah, it is. And as we call in this election, we're going to do some predictions.
Oh, no, stop.
Stop.
No, not tonight. Not tonight. Let's talk about the Steelers. Did you say 7-0? Let's talk about the Steelers.
You know, we before we close out the program, we have to have some prediction. We got to have some prediction.
Okay, can I predict something?
Yeah.
Over 100 million people have voted.
That's no prediction. That's a fact.
And I predicted their votes are going to count.
I predicted the last time we had Helen on here, we had 3 million people in Georgia vote, but we surpassed be 5.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going with Helen. I jumped up and shouted. But let's talk about Georgia in itself. Let's talk about Georgia prediction of the Georgia races.
It's looking like Georgia is moving purple, and that purple is starting to lighten towards blue.
Okay.
We have 2 senatorial. Mm-hmm. That's a rarity.
Right.
So you got John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock,
right,
who are really looking good in the polls right now. Jamie Harrison over in South Carolina too is looking good against Lindsey Graham. Yes, sir. So it's really interesting what's happening. But back to Georgia, right. It really looks like, out of 21 candidates, Raphael Warnock in his race, and I watched that race a little closer because that used to be my boss at Ebenezer Baptist Church. It looks like he is leading the pack out of those 21. Now they're getting ready to look at some of his sermons because they're getting ready for the runoff.
Right.
So they're going to look back. They said they're going to look back at some of his sermons. There was a story in the New York Times. Some of his sermons, they talked about the fact that he went through a divorce and some things like that to bring him. But Donald Trump, he's had a couple of divorces.
And some extramarital affairs.
And some extramarital. He paid off some porn stars and whatnot. So, I'm just saying, for everyone, when they get on that soapbox.
We all got a shade.
Everybody has something that they don't want on a billboard. Is that right? So, but it really looks like that race, and then Ossoff is looking good against Purdue.
I was looking at the polls. Ossoff was leading Purdue in the polls.
Well, here's the deal. They had that debate, and they were supposed to debate again on last Sunday, and Purdue just said, I ain't going through that again. So he said he was not going to be able to do it. He was going to go to Rome, Georgia, to the super spreader event.
No, he was going to be there. Super
said he was
spreader.
going to be there. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably didn't call it a day and said he can go to the poll because of the fact that he got contracted with it.
Absolutely. Well, here's the question: how many of those super spreaders events have caused people to have COVID? And they say the Republicans are going to be in line. How many of those people are going to be spreading COVID tomorrow in line going to vote to try to save this Trump ticket?
When we talk about, Georgia, we talk about down ballot. We got a lot of state house races. That's on the ballot. So I'm just going to do an overall prediction for me. I think the overall prediction for the state of Georgia is that you will have a lot of those Republican seats in the state of Georgia flipping to be Democratic seats.
In the House?
In the House.
In the Gold Dome?
In the Demon Dome.
Yeah, Demon Dome. Yeah,
I call it Demon Dome.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that.
Good people. They're out there doing some evil things. Good people. That's what I call it.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that I think that my prediction is that they're going to flip a lot of seats. The Democrats going to flip a lot of seats in.
You think they can take the House?
That is a prediction that we believe that they.
Billy Mitchell saying he's going to be the speaker.
Well,
already went and got a gavel.
I don't even want to.
He went and got a gavel.
I don't know about all of that.
Billy, what you walking around with that gavel for? Shh, I'm going to be speaker later.
Well, I don't know. That's yet to be seen. But the reality of it is, I think that they're going to get more. They're going to flip more seats this time. The Democrats will flip more seats.
But not the Senate, not the Georgia Senate. So we got some interesting races there too.
I know, but I'm not too sure about the Senate as I am
the House.
I'm sure that the House will flip some seats.
Yeah.
They're trying to flip 16 seats.
Yeah. Getting ready for Abrams to be governor.
Well, that's not a conversation.
Let's talk about the Steelers.
Yeah,
7-0.
Don't go there with me with that Abrams ticket.
All right.
That's another thing, My hair that I don't.
We are nonpartisan at Straight Talk.
That hair that I don't have will stand up on my head.
Say, man, got an afro.
Oh yeah, but anyway, we'll see after the night. We'll see, and hopefully, that whoever wins, whether they're Democrat, whether they're Republican, whether they're black, whether they're white, whether they're libertarian, or whatever their party or race or sexual persuasion is, that they will have the heart of the people, truly the heart of the people, and work to serve
the people
of Georgia, because the people of Georgia have been underserved for a long time.
And Bishop, we also need an agenda. I mean, other than just getting somebody elected, what are you electing me to do? And it's not just what I'm telling you I'm going to do.
Right.
But what do you need? And we need to talk about a coalition about this. I think we put Ice Cube in the trash, and I want to kind of grab him out the trash.
Oh, really?
Because really what Ice Cube was saying is that we need a black agenda. Like, there's a thing called AIPAC, which is the American Israeli Political Action Committee. No, AIPAC, the American Israeli Political Action Committee. Okay. When you go there, they have Republicans, they have Democrats, they have independents, libertarians. Okay. And the question is, what have you done for Israel lately? Mm-hmm. And what is your plan? This is what we want. Here's our 10-point plan. Sure. And we will support you, Mr. Bush. We will support you, Mr. Clinton. We will support you. I mean, this has gone on and on. Mr. Obama, we'll support you. It doesn't matter. So what is the agenda that we have? So Ice Cube said he wants to take an agenda because we need to ask for some stuff that we need that he sees. Okay, fine. But where did you meet with the black community? What was the Black United Front that you met with? Where are the leaders that you met with to go and say that you're speaking on behalf of? So that was my issue with that. It's like, if you're going to speak for me, talk to me.
Well, where are the leaders? I mean, how do you identify who the leaders are?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's problematic, because everybody that's touting themselves to be the leader or
has an agenda. That's not
agenda.
The agenda of the masses of people. So maybe right now we're in a place where we don't have a king, we've got judges. Maybe it's clan leaders. Maybe it's the people who are the authentic leaders right now that are standing up in the absence of real leadership.
It is the people. I think that the people, as I've said, during this whole election cycle, is if you register to vote and didn't vote, you don't matter yourself. Your voice is a silent voice. You have to be heard. You have to be heard. And you have, and you had Cornel West, you had Tavis Smiley, and all of them putting together the black agenda. Where is that agenda? I mean, where is those things that black folk were demanding, black folk, or did we just got happy and we got dummied down, and then a few people got what they wanted, and then the hit with everybody else?
Well, you said Cornel West and Tavis Smiley,
right.
And I know you were talking about the agenda. But now they kicked Obama in the behind for 8 years. They've been too quiet. Where's Tavis Smiley and Cornel West on this Trump administration, on the evil that this administration has brought? So I'm just.
Oh, you putting something.
I'm not gonna put them in the trash.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw them in the dumpster.
Okay.
They're not gonna go in the trash. Okay. But the thing is, we need an agenda.
Okay.
I mean, it's not enough just to elect somebody.
Right.
You got to be able to tell them what it is. Because if I'm gonna hire you, I'm hiring you to do a job.
Right.
All right. So who gets to take a resume to Bishop Fann and say, I want you to hire me at Liberty Church, right? And I'm gonna tell you this is what I'm gonna do for you.
Right.
First of all, I'm hiring you. I'm gonna tell you what I need you to do for me, right? And then I'm gonna grade you not on what you want to do for Liberty, but what Liberty needs you to do for Liberty.
Right.
And when you don't do that, then I'm gonna get rid of you in the name of Liberty, right?
Well, in the name of you ain't doing your job.
In the name of you ain't doing your job, you got to go, right?
You got to go.
So if we're gonna get rid of some folk, I think we need to at least give them what it is that we want them to do for us. What are the deliverables for us?
Too many times we elect people on personalities and we put them there, and we don't hold them accountable for even our own personal agendas.
Yeah.
Let's just be real about it. We put people up there and we don't hold them accountable even for our own personal agendas.
Yeah.
We go down to the Demon Dome and lobby people for a $15 hour raise. They don't even come out to meet with you to discuss what it is that your issue is. They're sending.
They'll show up at your church for you to elect them 4 years from now.
4 years from now, you go down there, they won't even come out to the rope and placate you. Some of them will, and some of them come out there and placate you. Then first thing they say what they can't do. Just like you said, you gave them a job, then they tell me they can't perform the job.
Yeah.
We need $15 an hour.
Yeah.
Which is nothing. And that's an agenda for not only black folk, but that's an agenda for people, period, that's making less than $15 an hour. I mean, that's a real agenda, and it's been an agenda for a long
Absolutely
time.
right.
So, I mean,
it's a livable wage.
It's a livable wage. So we still got
barely.
We still got they ain't even really
right.
Peak. What do you call peak?
Right. You're gonna have some roaches.
So the reality of it is, Shannon, as we look at this thing, is that we are at fault. Because the black preachers are at fault, the black people are at fault. We all are at fault because we are too busy trying to stay in our own little world.
Yeah.
And we're not worried about our brothers and sisters. There is a saying that I grew up hearing: no man is an island, No man stand alone. Each man is your brother. And then Jesus teaches us, love your neighbor as yourself. And too many of us don't love our neighbors because we don't even love ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we can't love our neighbors because we don't love ourselves. Yes, we're operating under the spirit of selfishness and greed and envy and jealousy. And that's what's happening in the world today. But Shannon, thank you so much, as always, for being a part of Straight Talk. And we thank you guys for watching us. And of course, wanted to say this, Brother James Davenport, who is fighting to make sure that the bus routes that have been shut down in black communities, that's an agenda, that we come together and talk to the model board and the model chair of the model board and the CEO of the board to tell them we must get those buses back running, back through black communities. That's right. So that black people can get to their jobs,
get to work,
they can get to back and forth to school. Mm-hmm. Hey, and we got to do it, and we can do it. Well, we want to just leave it there and just say it just like this right here. Thank you so much for watching Straight Talk with your truly great fan, the Preacher Man, and Shannon
E. Jones. Happy election night, folks.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being with us today right here on Straight Talk with your truly great fan, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. Tune in next week, same time, same place. You know we do it each Tuesday from 7 to 8, and then we have another pre-recording that comes on Friday from 7 to 8. Share it with your Facebook friend. We certainly hope that you went to the polls to vote. And remember, if you didn't vote, what you get is what you asked for. You didn't do nothing, so you're not going to get nothing. All right? Listen, also, we just want you to know that each and every week, if you'd like to be a guest, anyone that like to be a guest, you can just call 404-308-0795. That's 404-308-0795. If you'd like to be a guest on the program, we'll get you scheduled. And also, you can email us at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. Won't you share it with your Facebook friends right here each and every Tuesday and Friday from 7 until 8. Until next week, until Friday, until Tuesday. Tune in to Straight Talk with yours truly great fan, the Preacher Man, and Shannon E. Jones. Man, inviting you to join my co-host and I, Pastor Shannon E. Jones, each Tuesday right here on Straight Talk from 7 p.m. until 8 p.m. And if you'd like to call in and join the discussion, you can call 470-251-0349. That's 470-251-0349. And if you'd like to be a guest on the program, we'd love to have you. You can email us at straighttalk1362@gmail.com. That's straighttalk1362@gmail.com. It's Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and Pastor Shannon E. Jones.
Invite your Facebook and social media friends to check us out on Straight Talk with Greg Fann.